Your Honor, I'm going to attempt to confine my remarks to Joe Walsh, who is the client in this case. In particular, as I listened to the opening presentation by the prosecutor in this case, it became very clear what the state's theory is in this case. And the theory is, as I understand it correctly, is that a video contradicts what a human being's perception was of events on October 20th, 2014. Well, in the 6th century, the Talmud said that we do not perceive events as they are, but we perceive events as we are. And you can't get a better example of that, Judge, than what we've just observed in this courtroom. 2 attorneys have stood up who were possessed of the same evidence, the same information. And because of the positions of who they are, Judge, they've given you a presentation what they perceive the evidence to be in this case. And it's absolutely fundamental to our system of justice that human beings, based upon who we are, perceive things differently. And on October 20th of 2014, Joe Walsh was a 16-year patrolman in the 8th District. He was assigned a partner. His partner was Jason Van Dyke. That would be the 2nd time in his entire career that he had been ever assigned for Jason Van Dyke to be his partner. And I bring that up to you, Judge, because in the indictment in this case, it is alleged, and you have heard a presentation, that somehow Joe Walsh began on the evening of October 20th to engage in and to agree to be a member of a conspiracy to help an individual who had only been his partner one time before. Joe Walsh, as of October 20th of 2014, had been working predominantly in the 8th District as a patrolman, had participated in and effectuated some over 2,500 arrests, had received accommodations for his work on the streets, and he went out that evening with his partner and received a call, and ultimately, as you know, became a witness to an officer-involved shooting on Pulaski. Immediately following that shooting, Joe Walsh, Judge, didn't call to conspire, to talk, to text, or do anything. He made one call, called home to his wife, let his wife know that he would be late that evening. Because his vehicle in this case had become part of the crime scene, so he couldn't even leave the crime scene to go back to the district. Rather, he was, as you will find out, was protocol, he was driven back to Area Central, where he was required to create 2 reports. And that's what he did in this case. He created what's been referred to as a TRR, and he created what's been referred to as an OBR, Officer Battery Report. And I mention that to you, Judge, because on October 20th, overnight into the 21st of 2014, absolutely ended Joe Walsh's involvement with this case. He had no investigative responsibilities. He had no oversight responsibilities. He had no charging responsibilities. He had no other responsibility other than to go home and get up the next day and go back to work, as he did for months and months and months after this incident. Whenever called upon to give information regarding this incident, he did so, and he provided a truthful recitation of his perception of the events as they occurred around 41st and Pulaski on that evening. And he saw those events through the lens of being a patrolman, a police officer. And we wouldn't really expect it any other way. I expect today you're going to hear some testimony from Sergeant Snelling from the Chicago Police Department. Sergeant Snelling is going to tell you about police officers and how every police officer leaves their home and goes to work every single day, knowing that that may be their last day and that they may not make it to the end of their watch. And that makes police officers different from the rest of us. Joe Walsh viewed the events that occurred on Pulaski that evening as a police officer who was trained to know violence, who was trained to see crime where maybe others don't see it. And he reported to the best of his ability the events that he saw and that he perceived as a patrolman. Judge, he did his level best. And by the morning after this incident, his involvement in this case was completely over. The notion that he somehow festooned himself to a conspiracy that evening and that he knowingly committed official misconduct and knowingly obstructed justice is ludicrous. It's going to be undermined by the evidence in this case. At the conclusion of all the evidence in this case, Judge, I think that you're going to find the same. You'll have no problem finding it.